And let me ask you something. What happens when the world sleeps and you rise at 4 a.m.? No one is texting you. No one is calling. No one is interrupting your thoughts. That is your time, your edge. You see, successful people don't always have more talent, but they always have better habits. And one of the most powerful habits you can ever build is waking up before the sun, before the chaos, before the noise. Because when you wake up at 4 a.m., you are telling life, I am serious. You're telling your dreams, I am ready. And you're telling your excuses, you no longer control me. Between 4 and 7 a.m., you gain something others lose. Time to think, time to grow, time to read, write, train, plan without distractions. Discipline at 4 a.m. becomes confidence. At 9 a.m., confidence becomes results. And results become a life others dream of. Don't just wake up early for the sake of it. Wake up with a mission. Wake up to invest in yourself. Wake up to become someone worth waking up for. Because every time you choose the bed over your goals, you trade your future for your comfort. But every time you rise at 4 a.m., you rise into your potential. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, do I want comfort or do I want change? And then get up, show up, rise up before the world does, and change your life one morning at a time. The way you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. When you wake up early, especially at 4 a.m., you're not just getting a head start on the clock. You're gaining psychological, physical, and strategic advantages that compound over time. This principle isn't just motivational fluff. It's a strategy grounded in discipline, control, and intentional living. Most people wake up reactive. They check their phones before they check in with themselves. They roll out of bed into chaos, already behind on time, energy, and clarity. But waking up at 4 a.m. flips the script. It turns your mornings from disorder into design. Instead of reacting to the world, you're creating your world. You're not fighting time, you're commanding it. At 4 a.m., you're not just beating the sun. You're beating your doubts, your distractions, and your weaknesses. The silence of the early morning is not empty. It's full of potential. There are no phone calls to return, no emails to respond to, no obligations to fulfill. It's just you, your thoughts, and the opportunity to build your inner world before the outer world can get to you. When you in the morning, you start the day with momentum. You've already done what 95% of people haven't. You've exercised discipline. You've invested time in yourself. Whether you choose to meditate, journal, read, exercise, or plan, that early morning investment shapes how you show up the rest of the day. Your energy is sharper. Your mind is clearer. Your confidence is stronger. Not because you achieved something huge, but because you did something consistent. Early mornings are not just about routines. They are about ownership. When you take ownership of your mornings, you begin to take ownership of your entire life. You begin to realize that no one is going to hand you the results you want. No one is coming to wake you up and push you to live your potential. That's on you. And the first decision of your day, the choice to rise when it's hard, when it's cold, when no one's watching, is the first step in winning the battle against yourself. Success doesn't start with talent. It doesn't even start with opportunity. It starts with preparation. And preparation begins in the morning. Athletes train before the sun rises. Leaders plan while the world sleeps. Innovators and creators build their ideas while others hit snooze. If you consistently use your mornings for growth, learning, and mastery, you are stacking small wins that eventually tip the scales in your favor. This time isn't just for productivity. It's also about peace. There's a certain power in watching the world wake up while you're already in motion. You begin to feel a sense of control that is difficult to capture once the day starts pulling you in different directions. That sense of calm and control becomes a powerful shield against stress, distraction, and burnout later in the day. What you do in the first hour of your morning leaks into every hour that follows. If you begin with intention, discipline, and focus, you carry those qualities into your meetings, your conversations, and your decisions. But if you begin with anxiety, noise, and mindless scrolling, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover from a poor start. Mornings are the most underutilized weapon in the success arsenal. They're the golden hours when the brain is most alert. The distractions are at their lowest, and your willpower is at its highest. These hours give you the chance to feed your mind, train your body, and program your mindset. By the time the world wakes up, you're already ahead, not just in time, but in energy, clarity, and purpose. When you consistently win the morning, you rewire your self-image. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to be successful. You begin to see yourself as someone who already is. Because you've proven to yourself day after day that you can keep promises, stay committed, and rise above comfort. At 4 a.m., the world is quiet, not just outside your window, but inside your mind, the noise that usually surrounds you during the day. Social media updates, phone notifications, traffic sounds, conversations, deadlines, and demands are still asleep. In this rare and sacred stillness, a different kind of energy exists. A calm, clear, undisturbed space that offers clarity few ever access. While most people are wrapped in their dreams, you are awake, aware, and fully present in the moment. This silence isn't emptiness, it's potential. It's space to think deeply without interruption. It's time to hear your own voice without the influence of 1,000 opinions. At 4 a.m., you are free from a mental traffic that crowds your mind during the day. Free from comparison, noise, and distraction. In that moment, you're not running from anything or chasing anything. You're just there with your thoughts, your intentions, your breath. And in that stillness, you begin to hear what truly matters. Silence at this hour becomes a mirror. It reflects your truth without distortion. You start to confront who you are, what you want, and where you're going. There's no one to impress, no performance to give, just you and the raw honesty of your inner world. This is the hour where self-awareness is built, where real alignment with your goals, values, and vision begins to take form. The early morning silence sharpens your senses. You begin to notice details you often miss in the rush of the day. The rhythm of your breathing, the rustling wind outside, the first light creeping across the sky, all of it becomes part of an environment that grounds you in the present. This grounding builds emotional resilience. It gives you the ability to respond, not react, to lead yourself before the world tries to lead you. In a noisy world that constantly demands your attention, silence becomes rebellion. It becomes strength. Choosing to wake up at 4 a.m. is not just about being early. It's about choosing depth over noise. It's about creating a buffer between your mind and the chaos that inevitably tries to invade it. That buffer protects your focus, your creativity, and your peace. There's a reason why some of the most powerful minds in history spoke of the value of silence. It's in that stillness that breakthroughs happen. Ideas connect, visions crystallize, emotional wounds begin to heal, strategic clarity emerges, and perhaps most importantly, the real you begins to show up unfiltered by the noise of the world. When you start your day in silence, you give yourself permission to lead from within. You begin with intention instead of impulse. You give your goals space to breathe. You give your mind the quiet it needs to plan, to reflect, and to grow. This makes you more decisive throughout the day, more composed in stressful moments, more aware of your reactions and habits. Most people search for peace after the chaos has overwhelmed them, but those who understand the power of 4 a.m. don't search for peace. They build it. They craft it in the silence. They carve it into their schedule. They make it a discipline. And from that discipline, power emerges. A quiet, confident power that doesn't shout, doesn't seek validation, but moves through the day with clarity and strength.